Throughout my many years playing video games, there hasn't been nothing really else quite like Katamari Damacy. It's an incredibly odd and eccentric game. I first played it on the Switch a few years ago and it was a truly unique and odd experience. But now, finally, the Katamari Damacy Reroll Remastered is finally on PS4, so let's see if the game still holds up. The whole story of Katamari Damacy is certainly an odd one. It sees the very eccentric king of all cosmos accidentally destroying the night sky and the stars. So he sends out his son the prince to create stars and bring them back to the night sky. To do this, the young prince has to roll this ball around called a Katamari around many different areas and use the ball to stick everyday items like pencils, tins, cats and even children until it's big enough to be classed as a star. It's a very odd game, but it just works so incredibly well as a setup. You just can't help but laugh and go along for the ride. The majority of the levels see you starting off in a small area with a certain size Katamari ball. You're then given a diameter target your ball must reach and a time limit, and then you're off. You start off the levels by picking up small bits and pieces like paper clips, but once your ball gets bigger in a level you can then move up to tins, to chairs and so on and so forth. In later levels you'll start off with a bigger Katamari ball which allows you to pick up bigger things immediately, and as you play those levels your ball gets so big that you can actually pick up buildings. It's incredibly hilarious and odd and works so well. It feels strangely relaxing at times just exploring and picking up items. The time limit is actually quite forgiving so you can take your time and enjoy your experience. The game does lack a little bit of variety as it just consists of rolling things up with the Katamari ball. There is a few levels where you have to roll up certain things and that is a nice little change of pace, but apart from that the gameplay rarely ever changes. My only real fault with the game is that its controls are, well, frankly a bit awkward when you first start playing it. It takes a while for you to get used to the controls. Moving the analog sticks correctly together feels unique, but once they click you should be fine. As for the game's length, it's a pretty short experience, taking just over 6 hours to reach the game's conclusion, and whilst many will moan saying that it's too short, I think it's a refreshing and a manageable length, and there is replayability here if you want to better some of your scores. Graphically, the title looks lovely. Whilst it's still a rather simplistic looking title with many odd shapes and textures, it all has plenty of charm and suits the game perfectly. The game's many cutscenes are completely off the wall sort of stuff. It's like the developers were high on something. It's utterly bizarre but equally wonderful at the same time. The remaster has improved the graphics quite a bit over the original and thankfully it all runs really well. Conclusion time now, and Katamari Damacy Reroll finally makes a jump to PS4 and it's been well worth the wait. It's an utterly bizarre and over-the-top experience that just have you smiling all the way through. Its simplistic but ever so addictive gameplay of rolling up endless items just make it so much fun. The soundtrack is incredibly catchy and it's a wonderful looking game. Yes, the controls are a bit awkward, but once you get used to them, the game is a perfect treat for these long cold winter nights. So with that, I'm giving Katamari Damacy Reroll on the PS4 an 8.5 out of 10 with the title of great. As always, thank you for watching my review. I hoped you enjoyed it. If you could like and subscribe, that would be great. And until next time, happy gaming. Bye.